Things are looking real good for the Charlotte Hornets lately. They finished their season with a disappointing loss to the Hawks, but all in all, it was a good season when you put everything into context. Now they've got a franchise player in LaMelo Ball, and that's a solid position to be in when rebuilding. So let's take a look at who they can bring in as a co-star to partner Ball. First up, Bradley Beal to Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball has been a revelation for the Hornets, and he's taken the league by storm. His playmaking wizardry has been dazzling the audiences, and with the likes of Miles Bridges and PJ Washington, the Hornets have a good team that can become even better if they somehow bring in Bradley Beal. A co-star like Beal can take the pressure off Bridges, who looked exceptional and has elevated his game so much. If the Hornets can use him as a high-profile third option heading into the future, it won't only be smart, but also produce some fantastic results. If you pair Ball with Beal, you get a fantastic on-the-ball playmaker and one of the best off-ball scorers in the league. That's a lethal combination and possibly one of the best backcourts in the association. Beal could be the ideal fit for Ball as a running mate, and he wouldn't have to average over 30 points every single night because Ball, Bridges, and Washington can chip in too. As a second option, Beal's a magnificent addition, and the Hornets should be all over this one. Thing is, we simply don't know how Ball would feature alongside a dynamic floor general like Beal. He's never had the opportunity to play with one. Yeah, you can count John Wall, but Wall wasn't in his prime when they played together, and a proper version of Beal would be a world-class co-star. Oh, and don't forget that Bradley Beal didn't have the best of seasons for the Wizards. He was averaging over 30 points in the season before this one, and that dropped to 23.2. Plus, injuries limited his involvement to only 40 games, and if he finds himself on the open market, it's a no-brainer for the Hornets to snap him up. Next, we have Rudy Gobert to the Charlotte Hornets. With a player like Bradley Beal, the Hornets are adding a star backcourt partner, and as good as that could be, they'll be left without addressing a problem. Their side needs more pressing as a whole, and that was obvious from the season they had. Hear us out. What if we bring in Rudy Gobert to address the pressing issue and to partner LaMelo Ball? Some Hornet fans might not see the good side of this possibility because they wouldn't want to add a problematic person like Gobert to their young side. But the Hornets are light in the center position, actually extremely light, and Gobert improves them as he's a starter. Harrell's a skilled inside scorer and works really hard, but at 6'7", he struggles in protecting the rim. Mason Plumlee, too, can't be a starter even though he's a good positional defender and can be a nifty scorer. But bringing in Gobert solves all these issues. Gobert has got an exceptional record, and he's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, and there's a good chance that Utah let him go this summer. A combination of some younger players and some draft capital in exchange for Gobert, and the Jazz would 100% agree to deal because they're on the verge of combustion anyway. For LaMelo Ball, it'd be good to have an experienced partner like Gobert because he could genuinely take off some of the pressure from Ball and the rest of the young roster that the Hornets have. It'll also turn them into strong contenders going into the season. And if the Hornets are brave enough to take a punt on Gobert, it might pay off big time. And now, Karl-Anthony Towns to Charlotte Hornets. This would simply be fantastic. If you're a fan of fun, then you'll agree because we know that the defense of the Hornets will be compromised, but they can operate somewhat like the Warriors, with obviously a little less quality in comparison. It's not the perfect switch, but we've seen some pairings of that sort, and they've worked out pretty well, to be honest. Karl-Anthony Towns is the polar opposite of Gobert, and that means he's quite poor defensively. Limitations in defense are a major reason why his career so far has been plagued with critique, but just imagine the offensive pairing with Ball and Towns. They'll be a nightmare to defend, and not many teams will be comfortable with that pairing. Also, wasn't there a quotation about offense being the best defense? Well, why not? Towns' floor spacing and shot creation aren't second to many other players in the league, and when you add Ball's playmaking to the dynamic, you get fire. In this dream scenario, we're imagining the Hornets retain Bridges, and now, just for a second, picture that trio of Ball, Towns, and Bridges. Try to tell us that is not exciting. If the Hornets do want to become the new entertainers of the league, they should just be all over Karl-Anthony Towns. He's not just a floor spacer, he's also got the ability to create threes off the dribble, and he loves to attack closeouts vigorously, which would be a superb addition to the current Hornets attack. With Towns, the Hornets get a second option of bailing out Ball when he's not on top of his game, and Bridges can continue his progression under the guidance of the duo. Next, in other related news, Mike D'Antoni leading the race for Hornets coaching role. The race for the exciting role of the Hornets coaching job has been heating up in the last few days, and it looks like the management has finally decided on a name. According to several sources within the league, the leader for the Hornets' vacant coaching role is Mike D'Antoni, the former Lakers coach. As the franchise feels, it'd be the ideal pairing to get him and LaMelo Ball together. James Borrego was let go after their loss to the Atlanta Hawks in the play-ins, and it seems that the Hornets want to revamp the entire team and build it around their young core. As per sources, D'Antoni isn't a done deal just yet, but the Hornets love the idea of having him as he could improve LaMelo and the Hornets' running game. They're already a fun team to watch, but if at&t can get on the wavelength of the squad, they'll be pure entertainers in the upcoming campaign. Mike at&t isn't a stranger to good teams, and he's a superb coach who has won the NBA Coach of the Year 2 times. He's also known for his offensive playing style, which looks to be what the Hornets want for their young core. Hornets looking to trade Gordon Hayward. The rebuild at the Hornets is underway, and there are already lots of rumors about the trades and free market explorations that they'll be looking at. As it turns out, Gordon Hayward has fallen down the pecking order and is considered a neutral asset for the franchise. They could be looking to cash in on him because Miles Bridges is projected to earn close to, if not a max contract that'll be curtains for Hayward. In the last 3 years, his career has taken a downward trajectory and has been tormented with injuries. With those injuries taking their toll and age not being on his side, he could be used in a trade, but not a lucrative one because his effective cost isn't that high either. The idea for the Hornets is to target players that could cost a little less in exchange for Hayward, and they could potentially add some young defensive options to their squad. But moving him on won't be easy either. Will there be a big market for a player making $30 million who's got 2 years left on his contract and has been injured for the majority of the time he spent there? Updates on PJ Washington, Isaiah Thomas, and Cody Martin. PJ Washington has been decent for the Hornets, but the management sees him as a movable piece. Although that could change if they bring in a new coach and he wants Washington to stay. But his name's set to pop up in trading rumors involving the Hornets in the offseason for sure. It already came up in the Miles Turner trade, so let's see if Washington is moved on. Isaiah Thomas is a free agent, but the Hornets won't be letting him go. LaMelo Ball likes him, and Thomas wants to be back too. They've got a good thing going on, and it doesn't seem like the Hornets would want to disrupt that just yet. Cody Martin, on the other hand, is expecting a pay raise, and it would be more than deserved after the season that he's had. He's seen as one of the core players going forward, but again, most of these things will be confirmed when a new coach officially takes over. His all-around play was exceptional this season, and for Borrego, Martin was the first player off the bench in almost every game. Given the weak Hornets defense, that isn't surprising. That's a wrap for this video. Who do you think will be the ideal co-star for LaMelo Ball at the Hornets? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We will see you in the next one.